Pippi starts school. Quite naturally, Tommy and Nika went to school. Each morning at 8 o'clock, they trudged away hand in hand with their school books under their arms. At that hour, Pippi was usually to be found riding her horse or dressing Mr. Nelson in his little costume. Or she'd be doing her morning exercises, which consisted of standing bolt upright on the floor and then turning 43 cartwheels in the air, one right after the other. After this, she would sit on the kitchen table and enjoy a big cup of coffee and a cheese sandwich in peace and quiet. Tommy and Nika always looked wistfully towards Villa Cottage when they toiled away to school. They would much rather have gone to play with Pippi. If only Pippi had to go to school too, it wouldn't have been quite so bad. Just think what fun we would have together on our way home from school, said Tommy. Yes, and on the way there too, said Anika. The more they thought about it, the more it seemed a pity that Pippi didn't go to school. Finally, they decided to try and persuade her to begin. You can't imagine what a nice teacher we have, said Tommy artfully to Pippi one afternoon when he and Anika were visiting Villa Cottage after having first done all their homework. Oh, if you knew what fun it is at school, said Anika innocently. I should go out of my mind if I couldn't go. Pippi sat on a stool washing her feet in a tub. She didn't say anything, but just wriggled her toes a little so the water splashed about. One doesn't have to be there so terribly long, continued Tommy. Just till 2 o'clock. Yes, and we get Christmas holidays and Easter holidays and summer holidays, said Anika. Pippi bit her big toe thoughtfully, but didn't say anything. Suddenly, without hesitation, she tossed all the water onto the kitchen floor so that Mr. Nelson, who was sitting nearby, playing with a mirror, got his trousers completely soaked. It's unjust, said Pippi sternly, without taking any notice of Mr. Nelson's distress over wet trousers. It's absolutely unjust. I'm not going to stand for it. Not stand for what? Asked Tommy. In 4 months it's Christmas, and you'll be getting Christmas holidays. For me, what do I get? Pippi's voice sounded gloomy. No Christmas holidays, not even the very tinsiest Christmas holidays, she complained. There's got to be a change here. Tomorrow I'm beginning school. Tommy and Nika clapped their hands with joy. Hurrah! And we finally wait for you outside our gate at 8 o'clock. No, said Pippi. I can't begin that early, and for that matter, I think I'll be riding at school. And she did. At exactly 10 o'clock the next morning, she lifted her horse down from the front porch, and a moment later all the people of the little town rushed to the windows to see what horse had run away. That is to say, they thought it had run away, but it hadn't. It was simply that Pippi was in a bit of a hurry to get to school. In a wild gallop she burst into the schoolyard, hopped off the horse at full speed, tied him with a string, and flung open the door of the classroom with a terrific crash that made Tommy and Nika and their classmates jump in their seats. Hey, hurrah! Shouted Pippi, waved to a big hat. Am I in time for pletification? Tommy and Nika had explained to the teacher that a new girl called Pippi Longstocking would be coming. The teacher had also heard about Pippi from people in the town, and she was very kind and a pleasant teacher. And she had decided to do everything she could do to make Pippi feel at home in school. Pippi flung herself down into the empty seat without anyone having to ask her to do so. But the teacher took no notice of her careless manner. She just said it in a friendly way. Welcome to the school, little Pippi. I hope you'll be happy and you'll learn a great deal. To be sure, I hope I get Christmas holidays, said Pippi, because that's the reason I come, just as above all things. If you'll first tell me your full name, said the teacher, I shall enroll you in the school. Okay. My name is Pipalotta Provincia de Barra de Dandelena Esplanade Longstocking, daughter of Captain Ephraim Longstocking, formerly the terror of the seas, now Cannibal King. Pippi is really just my nickname, because my father thought Pipalotta was too long to say. I see, said the teacher. Well then, we shall call you Pippi too. But now perhaps we should test your knowledge a bit, she continued. You're quite a big girl, so you probably know a great deal already. Okay, let us begin with arithmetic. Now, Pippi, can you tell me how much 7 and 5 make? Pippi looks rather surprised and cross. Then she said, well, if you don't know, don't think I'm going to work it out for you. All the children stared in horror at Pippi. The teacher explained to her that she wasn't to answer in that way at school. She wasn't to call the teacher just you either. She was to call the teacher ma'am. I'm awfully sorry, said Pippi apologetically. I didn't know that. I won't do it again. No, I should hope not, said the teacher. And now I'll tell you that 7 and 5 make 12. You see, said Pippi, you knew it all the time, so why did you ask then? Oh, what a blockhead I meant. Now that I called you just you again. Excuse me, ma'am, she said, giving her ear a powerful pinch. The teacher decided to pretend that nothing was the matter. Now, Pippi, how much do you think that 8 and 4 make? I suppose around 67. No, not at all, said the teacher. 8 and 4 make 12. Now, my good woman, that's going too far, said Pippi. You said yourself just now that 7 and 5 make 12. There ought to be some order even in school. If you're so keen on the silly stuff, why don't you sit by yourself in the corner and count, and let us be in peace while we play tag? Oh dear. Now I said just you again, she said with horror. Can you forgive me this last time too? I'll try to remember better from now on. The teacher said she would do so, but she thought that trying to teach Pippi any more arithmetic wasn't a good idea. She began asking the other children instead. Can Tommy answer this question, please? She said. If Lisa had 7 apples and Excel had 9 apples, how many apples have they together? Yes, answer that one, Tommy, Pippi chimed in, and at the same time answer me this one. If Lisa had a tummy ache and Axel had an even more of a tummy ache, whose fault is it? And where had they pinched them apples? The teacher tried to look as if she hadn't heard and turned to Anika. Now, Anika, this is a problem for you. Gustav went with his friends on a school outing. He had 11 pence when he went and 7 pence when he came home. How much has he spent? All right, said Pippi. That I'd like to know, when he was so extravagant, if it was ginger beer he bought. If he washed well behind his ears before he left home. The teacher decided to give up arithmetic completely. She thought that perhaps Pippi would be more interested in learning to read. She therefore brought out a picture of a pretty little green island surrounded by blue water. Just over the island stood the letter I. Now, Pippi, I'm going to show you something very interesting, she said quickly. This is a picture of an island, and this letter above the island is called I. Ow, I can hardly believe that, said Pippi. It looks to me like a short line with a fly speck over it. I'd like to know what islands and fly specks have to do with each other. The teacher brought out the next picture, which was of a snake. She explained to Pippi that the letter over it was called S.